Boom, just like that. It's Thursday night, and you know what that means. It's party time, and it's party time with us, the Video Bros. I'm Bobby Munson, the man beside me, the man with the angelic voice. He's Papa Smokes. Papa Smokes, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, Munson. That was a very melodic intro you gave me this time. I love it.
I'm glad you did. I'm glad you did. I just want to say, Papa Smokes, that as officially as of tonight, Ring Respect Radio will now be available a few days after this live format in podcast format. You'll be able to hear us on Spotify moving forward as well, too. So for the first time ever, Ring Respect Radio can be rocked on Spotify. So make sure you're checking us out, subbing to us, checking it out, thumbs up, whatever. I don't understand how pods work that well, Papa Smokes, but we're on them. We're on them. We're getting our name out there.
All right, what a way to start 2024. You know, when I look at the way the world is right now, it's kind of hard to have optimism and hope sometimes. But in the podcast world and in the wrestling world, the world is our oyster, I think, Munson. And let's hit the ground with our feet running in 2024. I think it's going to be good. We got a new series to launch next week. We'll talk more about that, but things are looking up.
I got other things to announce here tonight too. Another project kind of in the works in the background here that I'll mention a little bit about here later on in the show as people start to roll in. It's big of people, Pop Smokes. Abs here right now, right there. We got BDJ here on time, hanging with his favorite people of Video Bros on a Thursday night. BDJ, cheers to you, brother. Beers up. And we got our good friend Bobby Stats, Bobby Petito in the house, saying that Zeta Steel versus Notorious Mimi and Delmi Exo versus Tiara James have officially been announced for the MLW Fusion tapings as per their website. I've got that whole list prepared, Bobby. We're going to be sharing that with everybody here, talking about those Fusion taping matchups as well as the main card coming up this Saturday, where you're going to be able to join us right here at our local establishment for the Video Bros Tailgate Watch-Along Party. And Papa Smokes, I believe you're back on this one finally. I've missed you a couple times here.
Fingers crossed, Munson. I can't commit to too much on the weekends sometimes, but I always want to be part of the watch-alongs, and this card looks pretty good.
It does look good, and we're going to talk about that very soon. Hopefully you'll be able to join me. But again, as always, seats are always open to all our friends within the MLW, the OLE family. The MLW family. Hell, if anyone from MLW wants to come hang out on a watch-along with us, but seats open. I'll send you the link. But Papa Smokes, it's just not a Thursday night without our third Video Bro up in the house. It's Basser joining us, saying, "Hey boys, Basser, how's it going, brother? How you doing? Are you psyched for the weekend? What you got going on, my man?" I got some shit going on this weekend here, Papa Smokes. I don't know if I've mentioned, but tomorrow night I'm going to be joining Ed Fries, Melball Collins, and Lauren Goodnight live at 10 p.m. Eastern time right here at our local establishment, hosted by our good friend Ed Fries. It is the 2023 year-end awards, and I am going to be repping Major League Wrestling, talking all the good shit from Major League Wrestling here and arguing my points about why my picks were the absolute finest. You guys could catch that live tomorrow night. I hope you tune in for it. And of course, Saturday night we have the live watch along, and Sunday I got Point of View coming at you again. It's a busy weekend up in the Munson Manor here. So
busy. After the holidays comes the time to work, Munson.
Yeah. Well, hey, gotta get to that grind, Papa Smokes, and I've been back at it, getting all that PPW stuff ready. We got matches we've called. We got tons of stuff prepared for Prairie Pro Wrestling before it comes back in a live capacity very soon. And I know there's some anxious fans like BDJ saying, "New Year, same ole, boys." He's got a point. I mean, it's the same boys on Thursday nights here. That's for damn sure. But we got some changes coming up to the channel here very shortly. More Pop Smokes is never a bad thing. I agree with you, Brian Carter, and Brian Carter is never a bad thing. Glad to have you here on Ring Respect Radio, as always there, my friend. And Brian will be happy to know we got some great Prairie Pro Wrestling matchups coming out on the YouTube channel here very shortly for him. I'm sure there's some badass Assassino coming up in February. Something about a chairs match coming out very, very soon there. So, be staying tuned for that. So, here we go, Papa Smokes. We're going to be talking all things MLW. But before we do, I just wanted to mention a couple things. So, Here on our local establishment, I won't give you the full details, but you and I might be sharing some Thursday night space coming up here very shortly, Papa Smokes. So Ring Respect Radio will air at its regular time of 9:05 p.m. Eastern Time. But we have got maybe some interested people, a couple of new faces that are going to be coming here to the channel to give us the lowdown on some Ring of Honor. And I'm not going to say who those new people are. I'm not going to make any announcements officially here. The things are slowly in the works right now. I don't know if this is happening next week, a couple weeks from now, but there is an ROH post show in the works that would officially air immediately after Ring Respect Radio around 10:15, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time for you guys. And let me tell you, we got some really knowledgeable, cool people coming in for this one. So I'm pretty psyched about it, Papa Smokes. I think it's going to add a lot more depth to the channel here. It's people talking about Ring of Honor, something that hasn't been covered much here in our local establishment.
Well, awesome. And so what you're saying is it's new people to Olay, new contributors?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So one of them is going to be coming in kind of in a more full capacity, at least possibly anyway. Definitely going to be in on this show. And the co-host likely is going to be in a similar role to you, Papa Smokes, where because of a very busy plate already, will be mostly just on a Thursday night capacity and such. But again, new additions to the crew, new additions to the streaming, new show coming out all together. It's going to be phenomenal. I'm looking forward to it. And now the Hammerstone is on TNA. Let's just bring that into Ring Respect Radio. You know, lo and behold, Brian Carter, I might be thinking about doing a post show for TNA's Hard to Kill next weekend with Astor Pizarro. I know that she's been contemplating it, so we've been discussing it. And because of Hammerstone going over there, I think I might have to dip into the TNA waters here, Papa Smokes.
Well, geez, man, think of the splash he's going to make in that company.
Oh, yeah.
Not to, not to say anything negative about TNA, but I can't even think of a lot of the male talent that they have there. And now this ultra jacked beast is going to come in there. He's going to make a splash, to say the least.
Wait, you see all who he's wrestling, right? This on the 13th. He's going straight up to the top. He's going for Josh Alexander. He's headlining Hard to Kill in a sense here on that show. So I am mind blown, but it's awesome. Again, they're treating Hammer like he's already a star walking into TNA. Hey, it's Astrid joining us up in the house. How are you doing, Astrid? Thanks for coming in to Ring Respect Radio here on the channel. Bobby is excited for the Richard Holiday match. And we do want to talk about that one quite in depth because I know we're both very excited about it. But let's get into this card here, Pop Spokes, and we'll start quickly with the tapings for MLW Fusion. Like Bobby mentioned, we've got Zeta Steel, Notorious Mimi, who have been making quite the splash on the MLW Featherweights division. Going to be able to put their talents on display in that one. We've got coming in from Toshi Japan Pro Wrestling, I believe is what it is, TJPW. We got, and God forbid I get this right, I probably won't, but Moka Miyamoto taking on Nao Kakuda, I believe. I hope I got that pronunciation right and didn't bastardize it. But again, that is another one of the taping matchups there. As Bobby said, they've also announced Delmi Exo and Tiara James is going to be. So they got 3 featherweights division matches that are going to be taped for that particular, for the Fusion episodes coming up. But get this as well, too. They're going to have an intergender matchup on the pre-show because making her debut for Major League Wrestling, here it is, Steph DeLander is going to mop the floor with Good Brother 3, Mance Warner.
Yeah, I was wondering if you were going to throw that in there. He's a little recognizable under that mask for sure. And so what's up with this match? Because her and Mance have been together at various points throughout this. What kind of a match is this going to be?
I don't know. It's going to be interesting. That's for damn sure. I'm going to go back to the chat here for just a second, Pop Smokes, because the chat is lit and people are talking. As Brian's saying, sorry, boys, but I think Hammerstone is going to mash that Canadian dude's ass. You know what? It's going to be a hell of a fight. I can guarantee you that. Josh Alexander is not going to take it easy on Hammerstone, and I'm sure likewise the other way. Asher mentioning, can't wait for Josh versus Hammerstone. It's got the world talking. And Ed Fries is up in the house saying he can't hang it around. He's got his tab. Wishing us a good stream. Ed, we wish you a very good evening. Thanks you for joining us here in any capacity. And then Bobby mentioning Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling, and I got it right. I got something right here, Papa Smokes. Not too bad, not too bad. And Astrid, of course, excited for her good friend Delby Exo, who did a wonderful episode of Astrid Asks over on Astrid's YouTube channel. Make sure to go and check that show out if you haven't done so already. And if you have, check it out again. What are you waiting for? Ryan saying Zeta Steele has really brought me around to the featherweight division. She has really lit things up there. I think Zeta Steele has really made a quick name for herself, joining the World Titan Federation there and standing out. She's quite the character. I'm curious to see how this match goes because Notorious Mimi has put in some decent work as well too.
Yeah, and this is like the fusion tapings will be like the enhancement matches kind of thing. So they're putting in reps, both these wrestlers, and I mean, this is where you get your chops. This is where you can make your name and move your way up the card. I'm interested to watch it. Well, I guess we won't see that on Saturday night, but we could see this match at some point.
That's right. Yeah, just follow along with Fusion, and we'll be able to check that out down the road. As Bobby saying, Notorious Mimi is a future challenger for the MLW Women's Featherweight Championship. I strongly believe that as well, too, Bobby. And we got also on this one, I don't know how much I care about this taping matchup. I mean, maybe people will argue with me. I know Melbo will hate me for saying this because it features Satoshi Kojima, but he's taking on Sami Callihan. So I don't know how excited I can get for a Sami Callihan match personally, Papa Smokes. I know people like him. I know a lot of people are excited for him coming back to MLW. I think you and I are on the same page that Sami Callihan just doesn't cut it for us in terms of his style.
Yeah, I feel the same. I'm not going to drag the guy or anything else like that. It's not to my taste. He's not to my taste. His last run in MLW, we saw some matches just not good, not to my style, but hey, he's a somewhat of a name on the indies, I suppose. So throw him in there, see what happens.
You bet. Yeah, we'll find out. And to go back to your point, I know we were talking about that intergender matchup, and you were talking about Steph DeLander being with Mance Warner. I don't know how that's playing out, that story, what they're doing. I don't pay enough attention to know the truth behind it all, but the idea was they're apparently together, they're in a relationship, but then she's hanging out with Cardona. She's been with Cardona. She helped Cardona to cost Mance Warner getting kicked out of MLW, but now this good brother number 3 has been hanging out with the second year crew, and he's got a mask. And I mean, it is about as obvious as when we got, what was it, Mr. America in the WWE in the early 2000s there. I mean, because, that totally wasn't Hulk Hogan by any means,
No, I always go back to the 80s, of course, when Dusty Rhodes lost that loser leave Florida. And then he kept coming back as the Midnight Rider. Yeah, the black mask and everything. And yeah. It's a trope. It's been used quite a few times. And when I was thinking about Steph DeLander, though, Munson, if she's dating Mance Warner now, what does Rat Daddy think about that? Do you remember that she used to date that Australian wrestler, Rat Daddy?
Yeah.
I watched a few of his videos before that. He's got some creativity. I got to give him that.
We had a good chuckle a couple of those nights watching a few of Rat Daddy's features there. So, yeah, Bobby's already laughing. So maybe he's seeing some Rat Daddy videos on YouTube as well too at some point.
And that.
But we got Bobby's kind of interested in a build-up between Kojima versus Alex Kane. And I think, in terms of putting Alex Kane over, if you were to give him someone like Kojima to go over, it really helps build his credibility. Not that he really needs much more help, because the people they've been feeding Alex Kane so far have been strong names within the industry.
For sure. But this is Kane's first kick at the main event can, so to speak. So I think it's good to feed him some quality opposition and have him go over. I would say Kojima is the perfect candidate for that, despite whatever he's got going on in his career for wins and losses right now. He's a former champion of MLW from back in the day, from the first run, a well-known name and everything. I think Kane should go over if they get together for a match, but this could be a big one for Kane as well. Kojima's one of those guys that could help build his name.
Yeah, really good. So we're going to talk about the main card now here, Pops, folks. And I know there might be a few names here off the hop, especially this first one that you maybe haven't familiarized with yourself just yet. But
Yeah.
these guys have been making a little bit of a mark lately within the middleweight division in MLW on the Fusion tapings. We're talking about the tag team Wasted Youth. They're going to be teaming with Alec Price to take on the team of Tony Deppen, TJ Crawford, and Griffin McCoy. And Tony Deppen has been one devilish little bastard there, causing a lot of trouble. And Wasted Youth, again, winning a recent tag team matchup that assures that they are going to get a shot at the MLW Tag Team Championship. So again, they're at least making those efforts with some of these teams like the Wasted Youth to put some build back into the tag team division within MLW.
For sure. And to cause a little momentum in the tag team division to MLW, we've always appreciated that kind of sports-like presentation. They're going to make some of these teams get some actual wins, rack up some actual wins before they get tag team title shot, instead of just announcing that they're the new number one contenders or whatever, like a lot of other companies do. They're going to have to go in and earn it.
You bet. But well, I guess we'll have to find out who those tag team titles are going to be around, though, Papa Smokes, because on this same very card, we do have a tag team matchup in terms of the second gear crew defending those tag team titles against the World Titan Federation, the team of Filthy Tom Lawler and Josh Bishop. And I don't know if you've caught a glimpse of Josh Bishop. This was the big man that got revealed right before Hammerstone just recently. This dude, there's something about him. He's a big boy. He's got some muscle behind him. He's going to be hard to take down, but he's against some other big boys in this clash.
Yeah, I agree with you. I looked into Bishop a little bit in doing prep for this episode, and he looks pretty good. He's also, like you said, he's huge. He's got a bunch of muscle on him and stuff. But he's been working out at some of the dojos in Japan and in America with Tom Lawler. They've also been opponents a few times. I think I've seen a rather bloody match between the two of them. So these two know each other. And by the sound of it, Bishop was quite glad to be on Lawler's side on a tag team for a change here instead of facing each other. So who knows? This almost has the sound like those two might have some similarities, some chemistry together. I'm not expecting huge things on when they're just beginning as a team and they're kind of thrust into this title shot. But hey, who knows what can happen? And yeah, I could see these guys putting in quite a good showing.
I really like the idea that they're going to give us a tag team title match, because I think that's one thing that has been lacking lately is having those tag team titles prominently featured on some of these cards. So I am glad that they're fitting it in there. I'm happy to see the second gear crew actually, racking up some victories, holding those belts. I think those guys make for a good tag team together. I like their work together. I think tag team is almost very fitting for, I'm going to say it, I think Brian Carter's favorite tag team on the planet, the second gear crew. And we got, I know Bobby saying he sees potential in Josh Bishop. Brian saying, I love Bishop, but he needs seasoning. He was fighting in Buffalo Wild Wings parking lot every Friday when they signed him. Yeah, and I mean, again, that's what MLW provides. It provides that seasoning for guys like Josh Bishop. I mean, they can put him with a filthy Tom Lawler, allow Tom Lawler to hide any of the inconsistencies in Josh Bishop's game right now in order to, behind the scenes, prepare Josh Bishop for something bigger as the big man grows and learns how to adapt inside of a professional wrestling ring properly. And being that he's young in the business, I think that, as everyone's saying, there's that potential there. And that's why he's got us talking already. I mean, this is a big guy with a world of possibility ahead of him.
Especially with all that training in the parking lot of Buffalo Wild Wings. I mean, that could be some seasoning right there, Munson. When we called that match for PPW a couple of years ago, the lights out, no disqualification match, I said, what are they going to have us doing next? Calling fights in the parking lot of the country bar downtown afterwards? It's got the same feeling as that.
Well, let's call a spade, Pop Smokes. We did that. If you don't recall the food truck wars, where we were not only calling an event that was held outside of food truck war, the main event of that exact tournament went out into the streets of Saskatoon, and I believe that our current champion, Sheik Akbar Shabazz, was dumped upside down into a garbage bin during this matchup.
Yeah, yeah, I remember seeing his legs kicking out the top there, and that was one of PPW's more fun shows because there were so many people out and about at the food truck wars, having food, having beer. Didn't maybe most of them didn't realize that there was going to be entertainment there, especially not pro wrestling, but we got a lot of fans on there, and they got treated to some fun, especially with that last match that you're talking about.
You bet. Bobby mentioned in that thinks Josh Bishop will be a future singles champion in MLW, I do believe. I got to say hello over to Dara the Amazing. Join us in the house. Dara Amazing, how are you doing? Thanks for joining Ring Respect Radio. And I'm going to put it on the radar, but on the 18th, that's right, mark your calendars, January 18th is the time, the place for some trivia. It's going to be WTF, Do We Know About Wrestling, part like 7 or so. I can't remember how far along we are, Pop Smokes, but we're somewhere in that vein, and we're going to be looking to have that championship on the line, both on YouTube and Twitch. Both those titles went to new owners last time out. Can they go to anybody else this time out? I guess we're going to have to find out. They're amazing. I hope to see you there, former champ. Yeah, trivia. But not just that, Pop Smokes. We're going to go back to MLW in a bit. We're going to talk about the rest of the card, but I want to take a quick break now that everybody's kind of in here and talk about next week on Ring Respect Radio, because this is something we've teased for quite some time now. We've kind of gone ahead and started doing the research, getting the prep ready. Got to make a few tweaks here prior to next Thursday just to prepare for it. But why don't you take the reins here, Pop Smokes, and tell them what's going to be happening and what to expect from the very first episode.
Well, one of the foundations of Ring Respect Radio, the way you and I had dreamed it up in the early days, was to have some commentary on new wrestling and big events in the business and stuff. But we wanted to also pay homage to the to yesteryear and the stars and the matches and the buildings and the promotions of yesteryear. So we decided to start a series called Trip Through the Territories, and it's just going to be a monthly or bi-monthly thing. We'll see at this point, but we're just going to go through all the old territories from the 60s, 70s, 80s kind of thing on a city by city or promotion by promotion basis. Just talk about it, watch some matches, talk about some matches, talk about promoters, big events, titles, everything wrestling to do with each territory. Which is going to take a plane ride all over the US and Canada, I think is kind of where we're starting this. I've been trying to.
I think we've lost Pop Smokes here temporarily as he's talking about his creation here, Trip Through the Territory. So we'll give him a moment to come back here to be able to finish what he's saying. But yes, Trip Through the Territories. He's back. Papa Smokes is back. Where you left off, sir? Go ahead.
Well, I was noticing that there were so many territories that we could do. So we were kind of thinking just to do the US and Canada a little bit. But of course, if the project takes off and we're enjoying it, like I think we will, we could probably do Mexico and England and Japan and Germany. And we'll see, like, wherever we can find more territories that were active during, just before the major companies took over. Let's do it. I say keep it going if we can.
Yeah, and that's going to be dependent on all of you tuning in, making sure to share that, like that, and that starts next week. Why don't you tell them, give them a little glimpse, what is going to be the topic of episode 1 of Trip Through the Territories? Keep in mind, it's going to be a product of Ring Respect Radio, so it will still be here in a live capacity with us Thursday night at the regular time. It's just where that is going to be the topic next week. But let them know, hit them with it. What is episode 1 of A Trip Through the Territories all about?
Well, I thought let's strike where the iron is hot, the promotion and some of the wrestlers that a lot of people are talking about right now. Dallas, Texas, and the Von Erichs with Fritz Von Erich. I'm just trying to think of the letters, the call letters of the WCCW, wasn't it? That's right. That's right. Little brain stall there, but we're going to look at that promotion, the way Fritz came into it the first time, and the way he built it up to, possibly the great climax or conclusion with the Texas Stadium Ric Flair versus Kerry Von Erich NWA title change.
And Brian saying it's a good choice. Thought we would do Stampede first. Stampede will be on our list there, Brian.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely 100%.
We'll do it.
But with everybody talking about the Von Erichs, talking about the history, the popularity of the Iron Claw and the success of the Iron Claw, the movie, because I mean, people are talking about the phenomenon, the acting, and the brilliance of this movie that's been put together, and the things that people didn't know about the Von Erich family. So we want to dive a little bit deeper into that by choosing the territory that they were known for back in those days and getting a little bit more in depth with that. So I'm looking forward to doing that. And, with any luck, Pops, folks, if you and I, even though we haven't yet, if we happen to see the Iron Claw prior to next Thursday, maybe there's an opportunity we'll be able to include some conversation about the movie itself, the comparisons to what the movie gets 100% accurate versus what was tweaked a little bit for film, which is always going to happen. They're always going to make little tweaks to make a Hollywood picture. They got to do their things. And Brian also saying the Sportatorium. Yes, the Sportatorium, where, again, here's the thing a lot of people don't know, and is a little sneak peek into next week. Vince McMahon might not have been as notorious for creating the world of professional wrestling as you know it today. Many people credit Vince McMahon for a lot of the ways that professional wrestling is done and looked at, but it may have been the Von Erichs that really got the ball rolling on it, and Vince McMahon, nothing more than a copy of a copy when it comes down to what he actually did in professional wrestling, just did it on a much bigger scale. But we'll talk more about that next Thursday night when we give you a trip through the territories for the very, very first time. Hope you guys are excited. Sounds like Bobby's excited to learn more about the Von Erichs, learn more about how they changed professional wrestling forever. And yeah, there'll be a lot more than I'm sure you even got from the movie. So if you happen to be someone that went and saw the movie, you want to find a little bit more in depth about the Von Erichs, join us next Thursday night. But going back to the MLW card here, Papa Smokes, we got more matchups to talk about. And I don't know where to sit on this one. This one should be interesting. It is the Love is Blindfold matchup. You got to be shaking your head already. We got Love Doug, Becca's love interest, or not Becca's love interest, but the one who has a fascination with Becca, against Becca's actual love interest, apparently her boyfriend, in Brett Ryan Goslin. This has been building up for some time, the animosity between these two individuals. Now, Love Doug, it is a goofy character, by all means, a goofy character. He's not complete trash in the ring in a middleweight matchup. What I've seen of his work, he's all right. Not my cup of tea in terms of character, but this story, it's not. It's okay. It's not my favorite. I could take a pass on it, but I'm going to give them the time of day. It's a one-on-one middleweight matchup. Brett Ryan Goslin might have something there too. I want to see how this one pans out at least.
Well, yeah, you're a lot more generous than I am. I'm not going to drag anything, but we did see the little build up to this match. Love Doug professing his love to Becca, Goslin hitting Love Doug with metal bar of some kind, and yes, now we have a match out of that. This might be where I warm up my wings and go to the bathroom once, and I'm not going to lie.
That's fair. That's fair, Papa Smokes. Bobby wants to know who should win this matchup. I say whether it's who should or who will. I think who will is Brett Ryan Goslin, and I believe it will be as a result of Becca's interference and return to Major League Wrestling. Personally,
yeah, heel should win this one. I think the first one.
Yeah, so Brett Ryan Goslin, I believe, is the one we're going to win. We won't spend any more time on that because I know, Papa Smokes, you're just dying to talk about a Taipei death match for the National Openweight Championship. Ricky Shane Page and Akira from the faction that was going to change MLW forever, but fizzled out like a bottle of pop on a hot summer day. We're talking about Akira, Ricky Shane Page. What are your thoughts here? I mean, I don't dislike either one of these guys individually, so the match itself would be fine in a one-on-one capacity. I don't give two shits about a Taipei deathmatch personally. That's my issue with it.
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth, and the same thing with the calling, and the same thing with this feud. Now, the one thing that I maybe could get down with in this match is if these guys have chemistry together in hatred for each other, showing that through this match. If they can maybe save a little bit of this by showing some animosity towards each other, working and cooperating in this match, but making it look like a struggle, making it look like a violent death match, I guess. But that's about all I'm willing to go for. Yeah, couldn't care about this.
Yeah, again, it's again when I hear death match, it kind of tunes me out a little bit. I know I don't see MLW going to the extremes of say like AEW has done with recent matches with Adam Page, Swerve Strickland, that kind of level of death match. I obviously there's going to be blood. There's going to be some color in this match. We can't avoid it. I'm not sure how I feel because again, a national openweight championship I feel has been an afterthought since Ricky Shane Page won it. And I hate to say that. I really hate to say it because the National Openweight Championship matchups were one of the most exciting matchups on most of the cards when they were happening. And I like Ricky Shane Page. I think there's something there that could work with him. I just don't think the National Openweight picture did any favors for him or for MLW, or having him there did anything for MLW. I don't think it's helped. I think the belt needs to go to somebody else. It needs to go to somebody else soon. Unfortunately, I don't think Akira's that guy either, personally.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. And I mean, when you think about Ricky Shane Page holding the National Openweight Championship, no one ever pictured him making that leap up from that to the World Heavyweight Championship. You know what I mean? Like with that whole time that Hammerstone had the National Openweight Championship, he made it clear that this isn't the belt I want. This is the way to for me to get to the belt I want. And it made it exciting in that way. But with Ricky Shane Page, he doesn't look like he can make that leap into the to the top of the card into the main event. So therefore, his having that belt is kind of unexciting. I'm not sure if I'm wording that completely correctly, but I also feel like that belt has become a little bit boring. And yeah, we got to shake it up a little bit and maybe be done with this calling business and start rebuilding that sort of mid card title back with some new guys fighting for it.
I agree, 100%. Brian thinks this matchup sucks. Ricky Shane Page is ragdolled Akira every time they fight. Which, you know what? If that's the case, then I can only strongly believe that Akira is going to pull the unthinkable upset victory in this one. It's designed to have Akira pull up that upset victory just when you think Ricky Shane Page has got him. There's going to be some sort of upset that occurs. Akira's going to walk away the new champion. And I think that this isn't the last time we see Akira versus Ricky Shane Page for that belt.
Yeah, you make a strong point there, Munson. I think that could be a good prediction. I don't think Akira is going to do any better in that spot than Ricky Shane Page, but this is what MLW's gotten right now, and they're working with it. I don't think it's a great time for the company, as I've said before on this past almost a year hasn't been strong for the company, but I see some optimism in this card because at least they're putting those titles on there. They've got competitive matches. They've got a specialty main event that doesn't involve a title. That's good. Have a match that can stand on its own at the very top of the card. But yeah, we need more talent, especially in that middle card and upper card area.
Yeah. Ed is saying anybody's better than Ricky Shane Page, and Brian is on the still garbage train when it comes to whatever the finish is of this particular matchup. Bobby wants to know, though, if Ricky Shane Page does lose, where does he go? I mean, I think I think one more matchup. I think whether they choose to keep him around, I have my doubts. I think Ricky Shane Page goes over to somewhere else entirely, goes and does some more indie traveling, maybe I don't see him going to TNA. I don't foresee TNA picking up Ricky Shane Page. I could see GCW. I think he fits right in with the style of GCW and will probably do quite well for himself at their company. And that's about all I'm going to say about that. People like it, like what you like. I'm not going to start getting into it. It's just not my cup of tea.
Come on, Mutz.
That's
Just a little bit.
I'll leave the ranting to Mr. Ed Fries. Mr. Ed Fries could take care of all the rants when it comes to here. We know it's not to the gym. Oh, Brian. Ouch for Ricky Shane Page on that one. Hopefully he's not listening, because I doubt we're ever going to have Ricky Shane Page on for an interview after that comment. That's for damn sure. Bobby mentioned that he liked Davey Richards as the MLW National Openweight Champion. And the belt was strong during that time. We had strong competitive matchups for it. It was featured heavily. And I think that's what they need to get back to, is the workhorse title, the working guys championship, the one that builds you toward that main event, because that was the guys who held it, the Hammerstones, the Alex Canes, right prior to going in to the main event picture for MLW. And I think if you're not going to pull the plug with a guy like Ricky Shane Page, you need to start looking at the crop of talent coming in and going, who's our guy? Who's that guy that's going to give that quality to us and be able to hold his own in that division? He might even be in the form of a name that they just picked up, and we're going to talk about in a little bit. Somebody like a Matt Riddle, love him or hate him. Again, it's a name that could revitalize the National Openweight Championship division.
Okay, that's interesting too, because I thought he might be hanging around a little closer to the top of the card, but
maybe
that's an interesting thought too. And if they want to revitalize that title, then they need a name to put it on, right? And that could be the name.
It could be. We'll have to find out very soon. Bobby said to bring back Shun Skywalker. Bobby, you get my 100% thumbs up on that one. Shun Skywalker can walk through those doors any day. Love some Shun Skywalker in MLW. Sorry, Papa Smokes. Go ahead.
I just said same. Totally agree.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Speaking of people we like in MLW here, Papa Smokes, let's talk about the MLW Featherweight Champion, the Kick Demon, Janai Kai, who has left a violent impact on the MLW Featherweights division. I like Janai Kai a whole lot. Ever since her debut in MLW, she has definitely made a great impact on me. And here she is, taking on another newcomer coming in from TJPW in the form of Hyper Masao. They seem to be doing these great crossover matchups that are coming in, and that's how we're getting a lot of additions to the MLW Featherweight division. I'm stoked about this. I don't know anything about Hyper. I'm curious to see what she brings to the table, but no matter what she brings to the table, we have the Kick Demon, and that's all that matters.
For sure. I read a little thing about Hyper, and it said she has kind of a superhero type gimmick going on, but she's not good. She's a rule breaker by the sound of it too. So this makes it a little bit weird for this match, because Kai, totally a heel in this case, but perhaps Hyper will work as a babyface in this match. Who knows? Not sure about the whole superhero thing, but like we've said all along about Featherweight's division, let's get it going. Let's bring some girls in here and get some matches going. Kai, I can't think Kai will have a problem with Hyper in this match. I'm sure it's going to be a feeding going on. We'll see the toxic kicks happen quite a lot in this match, and but again, we're building people here too. They need reps, they need matches to get their name over, to improve their skills, and let's do it up. Let's get a girl from Japan in here and get a match going.
You bet. Brian saying he would fight Love Doug way before he'd fight Janai Kai for sure. She is scary. I think even your favorite wrestler, Brian, Mr. El Assassino, would think twice before he took a contest with Janai Kai, because she is scary. I'll agree with you there. And Bobby saying he'd like to see Janai Kai versus Mayu Yamashita or Ava Everett for the MLW Women's Featherweight Championship. Both those can go get signed. I liked Mayu Yamashita a lot when she came in for MLW's one shot. Ava Everett, of course, had that opportunity a little while back here in MLW. Both of them, 100% would love to see them back in MLW.
Absolutely. Bobby's got Well, he's got all the stats and all the knowledge about who could be coming and who might come, and excellent suggestions of who should come.
I agree. And saying that Janai Kai could even hold on to that MLW World Featherweight Championship until someone beats her. Yeah, well, until they find the right person. Again, you've got a lot of talent there, but a lot of them stepping up to the plate are getting their heads kicked off by the very scary Janai Kai. And again, with Selena De La Renta in her corner, for whatever Janai Kai might not be able to get done on her own, there's some sneaky underhanded shenanigans coming from the corner with Selena De La Renta there.
Yeah, Selena's an advantage to anybody she manages by a long shot, and they seem to be pushing Kai as a very strong heel, as a bulldozer style heel. So it'll be interesting to see who they'll bring up as a baby face that can get through the kicks and make a challenge in some kind of wrestling for that featherweight championship.
Yeah, it's great to see that there is so many featherweight matches occurring as well, too, because the featherweight division is finally very hot in MLW, and they're really trying their best to give some great opportunity. And I love seeing it because the featherweight division, like we said last week on the show, was one of the top things going on in MLW last year. But when we come to the men's side of it, we come to the two big matchups that have been announced for Kings of Colesseum, at least the ones that I know have got most people talking right now. And we're going to talk about the world title last, even though they've got it listed just below the other matchup. But let's talk about this one. We've got the return of the original bro, Mr. Matt Riddle, returning to MLW to take on the Samoan werewolf, Jacob Fatu. It's funny when you make the motion pop swoos, because just today, an interview with Matt Riddle dropped where he said that he is looking to take a different approach with his return to not only MLW, but to the independent scene, and go less of the entertainment goofy side that was pushed within the WWE. And he wants to get serious about what he displays in the ring. He wants to show just how good he can get, how physical he can get inside of a professional wrestling ring. And for what it's worth, I remember seeing this guy when he first stepped in to the Ultimate Fighter for the very first time and punched a dude right in the face and sent him to the hospital. Matt Riddle, when he wants to be, is no joke.
Oh, for sure. And I read some of those same articles that you did today, Munson. He does want to make it more serious, and I think that's a good idea. It's hard to compare what a wrestler is going to be like after he's left the WWE. He's going to try and keep some of that buzz around himself and stay recognizable to the brand that's already been created in the big company. But I think it's a great idea for him to go a little more serious. I remember some of his old matches from MLW. It was a bit like that. He didn't go so much for the entertainment side, but was really working that fusion of MMA fighting and pro wrestling kind of, which is what he's going to do for sure. That's where his bread and butter is going to be, but not so silly. Now, I don't know if you can really go back on what's already been done with him. I mean, can you look at that guy and take him seriously? You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube, so to speak. So I don't know, but maybe with some hard-hitting matches and some hard work, maybe he can shed a bit of that goofy image that he's worked so hard to build over the past year. Now he wants to be rid of it.
Keep in mind, we once had a Zack Ryder, and we now have a Matt Cardona, so people's minds can be changed in terms of the way they are perceived. As Basser saying, I bet Riddle hits an RKO in the matchup. Basser, I already know you're wrong because it's an RK bro that he would be hitting in that particular matchup. I'm never going to escape that. Brian saying that Court Bauer recently admitted that the creative and talent had gotten really bad. He said that the lawsuit was a big distraction. Clearly, that would be a case in there. And he said he is fully involved now and will turn things around. I have no doubt. I really have no doubt. When Court Bauer wants to turn up the heat, he can turn up the heat. And now that lawsuit's settled, he's got that off his plate. Man, I'm thinking 2024 is looking up for MLW.
That's good. I'm glad to read that too, because it has suffered. It has seemed like it's been put on the back burner kind of thing. for me, it's been a lack of talent. I realize that it's not endless out there, and you don't want to sign all the people or have one shots of people that you've already had a whole bunch of times. I realize it's tough out there, but maybe with that lawsuit being settled, maybe without the future of the company hanging in the balance for Court Bauer, you can relax, sit down, do some business, do some booking, like we know that he's capable of doing a million times over. We've enjoyed so many of the matches and events that he's booked. Let's get back to it. Let's keep that optimism going for 2024. Court, the ball's in your court. I know you can do it, buddy.
Great pun, Mr. Prophet Smokes. Brian Carter saying Riddle may be the first piece of that rebuilding of things within MLW. I agree. I wouldn't be shocked to see somebody surprise here. Again, they've done a couple of surprises the last two shows. They want to make a big splash. They got some rebuilding to do. It would be a good time to bring in another name that you're going to push into that scene, somebody who could take on an Alex Kane as well, too, as you're trying to build him as a very dominant champion. And great job. That's one thing they have been getting right, for sure, is the run of Alex Kane at the top of the card. Bobby mentioning he likes Jacob Fatu's ring work, but he thinks Matt Riddle is going to win against Jacob Fatu. I think you make a strong case, Bobby. I do think that Fatu seemingly has been putting a lot of people over, which is often a sign of somebody clearly on their way out very, very soon. We know Jacob Fatu's been picking up a lot of other dates with other companies. I can imagine it's around the corner. It's got to be around the corner. And quite frankly, at this point, I hope he goes to TNA, and I'll watch more TNA so I can continue to watch Jacob Fatu on a regular basis. I know there's a lot of people out there want him to go the WWE route because of the bloodline connection. But man, is that story just about dead in the water? I don't think there's enough oomph left in that story for Jacob Fatu's involvement.
And I don't think just shipping in a pipeline of other bloodline members and other Samoan wrestlers is just the answer to this storyline. I mean, if they didn't bring in Fatu at the beginning in the spot that Solo Sikoa has, then there's not really room for him with the other Uso brothers and all that stuff, right? So I don't know, but it's nice to dream of stuff like that, but I don't think the WWE is really Fatu's scene. And yeah, I like the question that Bobby asks in his comment there, because it is interesting to think of how they'll book that match. You're debuting Riddle, which might be, I guess I can call him Matt Riddle now. They're debuting him, so you want to put him over and make him look strong, but Fatu's one of your main guys too. And if your prognostication is correct, Munson, and he might be leaving, then it could be just a series of jobs before he goes out the door. And man, won't that be sad to see?
It'll be sad to see, but again, I hope the best for Jacob Fatu. I want him to go out there and do what he wants to do. And again, hey, if he makes the Hammerstone route over to TNA, I'll be happy, because I don't have a problem tuning into some TNA wrestling at all. I'd be more than happy to talk about that and cover that more often. As Bobby asking, do we think MSL will offer Matt Riddle a contract? I think that's a strong possibility, but I also believe that MSL will get denied in this case, because I strongly believe MLW need somebody that's independent of all these factions right now. I think they need somebody who is willing to be a baby face at the top of the card, and because we've got a couple of heel factions going at the moment, we need more babyface talent in that picture, and they just don't have it yet. And I think Matt Riddle would fit that category. As we also got Shadow is your boy, Hada, joining us in the chat saying, what's MSL? That would stand for Mr. Saint Laurent, the what does he call himself? The legitimate promoter of the World Titan Federation within Major League Wrestling. Brian saying he's all in for Riddle in the World Titan Federation. More to fight the Beaumont Fight Club. Brian, my man, Brian, we've got a little issue here. We got a little issue. I know you like the World Titan Federation, but they don't want no piece of our Beaumont Fight Club. Our boys in the Beaumont Fight Club, friends of myself and Papa Smokes. I mean, Mr. T, Mr. Thomas himself, is Papa Smokes' close personal friend. And that guy alone could mop the floor with the World Titan Federation, let alone the suplex assassin, Mr. Alex Kane, our boy Jay Bougie. You got O'Shea Edwards in there, and you got Faye Jackson backing them up as well, too. And she's just going to bulldoze every member of that World Titan Federation when that opportunity arises. As Papa Smokes drops out, we're going to, oh, there he is. Welcome back, Papa Smokes.
Writing words.
Yeah. Shadow is your boy here to say, to be honest, Riddle should go to TNA. They can offer him the best future. I don't disagree with you, but he did make a home in MLW for a while, so I think he's happy to go there. I think it's going to be strong for him. I think that he's got an opportunity to start rebuilding a bit with MLW, and we know that they've had no problem sharing talent with TNA in the past. So there is still that possibility of the crossovers happening and talent from MLW crossing into TNA and vice versa. So there is going to be lots of places for Matt Riddle. He's got a name, a very strong name. People are going to shell out money for him. It's guaranteed. And Andrade should be going to the WWE. That's what the rumor is. I've seen it. I don't have confirmation. I don't know anybody that has confirmation, but logically, he's left AEW. We know where he was before. You'd think that's where he'd end up, but who knows? Guy could end up anywhere. I mean, I'd gladly take him in MLW. It'd be a stupid move for his career, but I'd happily take him over in MLW.
But I also think that, or should I say, I feel like a lot of these wrestlers, when they finish a long stint with a big company, doing the grind, working the same roster, working the same buildings, the same dates, the same buildings all the time, that they don't want to just always leave one company and just sign and start up with a contract with another company. They all have promoters and fans and buildings, different ones that they want to see. Some of those guys owe promoters a favor. You know, once you've done your run in the WWE and you've been kicked out of there, you come back and help the old promoters that helped you on your way up, at least for a little bit before you sign with another major competitive company. So I don't know. I think guys like Matt Riddle might just want to chill and do some indie dates for a while before they sign with another company. A lot of those guys don't want to just ping pong from one to the other, but go back. Like I could see Andrade going back to Mexico City and working with CMLL or one of those other groups, at least for a little bit. Bring some of your star power back. Help the people that helped you on your way up, and do a little favor back, you know?
Yeah, well, his wife's over in WWE, though, so he might be heading back there anytime soon.
Yeah,
we never know.
Yeah.
Well, I'll get back to Bobby's here in a second because Bastar's got an interesting question I want to get to. Sorry to go off topic. Do we have a date for the next Prairie Pro Wrestling show? Basser, I don't have anything official that has been said to me. I could make a bold prediction. And judging by what's happened in the past, I would not be shocked if the Prairie Pro Wrestling show, and I'm just going to bring it up here, I'm going to guess that you will expect to see Prairie Pro Wrestling on Saturday, February the 17th. That is not an official word yet, but I am taking a stab in the dark that Saturday, February the 17th, we will see Prairie Pro Wrestling return to live action here in the city of Saskatoon. So look forward to that. Once we have that news, we will drop it for you guys, and we will talk about it here on Ring Respect Radio. As I see Pop Smokes is completely frozen out on me here. I don't know if he's going to make it back or what's going to happen. We will hopefully get him back in shortly with you guys. I know we're going to go here to Shadow is your boy, Hater, and say Riddle went to MLW 2 weeks ago, yet he finds another Bloodline member. Fatu is related to the Bloodline. LOL. And it's going to be interesting. He has to go up against another member of the Bloodline there in that capacity. As we've completely lost Papa Smokes, I will hopefully he'll join us back in here very shortly. Here we go. I believe he's back in. There he is. The man himself has made it back to the chat. Papa Smokes.
I got completely booted that time.
You sure did. You had a good look going there. You froze at a good image. It was fantastic. What about this one, Pop Smokes? Bobby saying he still hopes we see Mustafa Ali in MLW. And I got to agree, if Mustafa Ali is willing to bring his name to Major League Wrestling, I'd be on board. I like this guy's work. I really think that this is one of the ones on a personal level that WWE dropped the ball with.
Yeah, he's talented as all hell. And can you imagine him in MLW in that lightweight division that we've seen such great matches from Myron Reed and what's that other guy, Munson, that used to be in WWE also?
Oh, Leo Rush.
Leo Rush. Yeah, yeah. That was a good time for that belt. There was all kinds of competition. There was lots of or a good handful of luchadors coming up for that. That's another belt that needs to be heated up a little bit, and that could be the key right there.
Yeah, I agree. Bobby saying Nick Nemeth, formerly known as Dolph Ziggler, was at New Japan Pro Wrestling's Wrestle Kingdom. Yeah, it's all the talk of the wrestling world since last night, and I like what I saw. Again, I think that once that release happened, I did make a statement saying that I thought the best place for him. I honestly thought he would sign with an AEW, but I said I think that his style and what he's capable of would be much more suited to New Japan Pro Wrestling. So when I saw that footage from last night and saw that, the aftermath of that battle in that press conference between him and Dave Finlay, they've got my damn attention. Now I got to want to watch this unfold. I want to see Nick Nemeth versus Dave Finlay in New Japan Pro Wrestling after what I saw last night.
This is fun for Nemeth too. Here's another guy that's got a great wrestling mind, awesome skills within the ring. He's a great professional wrestler, but despite having that long WWE stint that he had, he's never really been satisfied artistically. I don't think. You know what I mean by that? I think that this New Japan trip will be that for him, where he can take on some of the wrestling stars over there that he's dreamed about wrestling. Who knows how much longer Nemeth might have in his career, or like how much gas that he wants to expend at this late part of his career. But fun for him to see. That's probably something he's wanted to do for a long time. Go over to Japan and wrestle with NJPW. I wish him all the good luck.
Yep. Well, he's going to have me tuning in, that's for sure. Brian saying that he'd like to see some more of the giant luchadors again in MLW, like King Huertes or the dude with the big bull head. Hey, bring them on in. We like some luchador wrestling in MLW for sure, Brian. I think that's a great suggestion. We got Barry Monkey. Hello, Barry Monkey. Thanks for joining us here on Ring Respect Radio, as always. Saying I'm hoping Mustafa Ali goes to Impact or TNA. I know he's going to call it Impact anyway, but TNA, as they're now rebranded. Whoever gets him will get a great wrestler, and I agree with you, Barry. And if he goes there, I might be tuning in, because I said earlier in the show here tonight, with Hammerstone making his way over to TNA Wrestling, I might just be watching Hard to Kill next weekend and doing a little bit more chatter about your favorite promotion there. So we'll have more to talk about coming up here, Barry. Looking forward to being able to have chats with you on that kind of stuff. Yeah, Mustafa Ali would be great, but we do have one more match we need to talk about here, Papa Smokes, before we end our night. And of course, this is the world title matchup. This is a big one. It was found out that last show we've got the return of most marketable Richard Holiday, and he's going to be going one-on-one with the champion, the Beaumont Fight Club leader, the Suplex Assassin, the Opera Cup official holder, despite all things that went down. We're talking about Mr. Alex Kane, friend of the show, Beaumont. I'm in a predicament here, Papa Smokes. I like Richard Holiday, and I want the best for him. But, man, I wish they would have given him somebody else to start, because, unfortunately, he's about to find out what the Suplex Assassin's all about and why that star is on the rise. I think this is going to go in favor of our boy Alex Kane, but what a match we're going to be in store for.
Yeah, I love this. And Kane, like you said, has gone through a roster of some pretty stiff competition, and it only gets tougher with the return of Richard Holiday. And I love this. Here's the guy, when we say that MLW is short on top guys, here's a guy you can bring back that can handle that situation. That title match that Holiday had against Hammerstone possibly a year and a half ago was a great match with a
Yep.
wonderful build, and they both guys did such a great job in the promos leading up to that match. And I'm not sure how much of a build this one has had. A little bit, a few weeks worth at least, and I love it. Holiday's a guy that can handle this position. He could handle being world champion in MLW too, but I agree with you. I don't think they're going to end Kane's reign quite yet, but he will get another spectacular title defense out of Richard Holiday and another big name to have under his belt for a successful title defense.
Couldn't agree with you more there. As Bobby's saying, how about Davey Boy Smith Jr. returns or low key shows up, step up against Alex Kane? I mean, there's a lot of directions they could go. I ultimately, and I know we've said this many times before, and because Alex Kane said it on one of my shows, is that bring Shelton Benjamin in. Even if Shelton Benjamin is only going to come in for one match and one match only, Alex Kane has got Shelton Benjamin on his list of people he'd like to wrestle. The clause is now up because if Nick Nemeth was allowed to go to New Japan Pro Wrestling last night, it means officially Shelton Benjamin's non-compete clause should be free. And hold on here. What if Shelton Benjamin shows up here on this very night and signs with the World Titan Federation and is the next opponent to Alex Kane? What a matchup that could end up being.
I love your fantasy booking and talent acquisition here, Munson. That's some good stuff. And I've been a big fan of Shelton Benjamin for a long time, since the world's greatest tag team with Charlie Haas. And he's had a stellar career. Again, a guy that never quite made it to the top of the mountain, but it's not for lack of athleticism and natural talent and having a good mind for the business as well. That could be massive. And when Court Bauer talks about getting it together and having a big 2024, would that be a big puzzle piece to fit in there?
It really would. It would get the world talking, that's for damn sure, because Shelton Benjamin brings a lot of name status to the Brian said he better not do the choke out again. I like Kane choking dudes out. I think it's fantastic. And I'm gonna enjoy every moment of it if he taps your boy out this coming Saturday night there, Brian. So we're gonna put a little friendly bet on this one. I'm betting this one ends with Richard Holiday going to sleep at the hands of Alex Kane's chokehold. So Brian, the bet is on, my friend. As Bobby coming in saying Calvin Tankman could be an option as well too. Maybe Tankman returns to MLW and gets thrown into that picture again. Since leaving MLW, Tankman's been doing very well for himself on the independent scene, picking up championships, rebuilding his name. So damn, that would be fantastic choice. I agree with you, Bobby. We can hold on here. Hold on. Just we can bet for a PPW t-shirt. Well, my PPW t-shirt, I would personally send you my personal PPW shirt, but it is kind of rustic and beat up as all hell there, Brian. I'm not so sure that you want a copy of Bobby's old beat up sweaty PPW shirt all that much, although it's there for the taking. I can get that to you a lot sooner than any new merch right now.
I suspect he might mean a new one, Munson, but we have to get a new batch of shirts made first.
We really do. We got to get on that. Actually, I gotta talk to the boys and make that. I apologize for that. I got to make that happen. So, yeah, there we go. Okay, I'm making sure the microphone is actually working. So, Barry Monkey saying Shelton Benjamin would be a wrestler that would help make any opponent look good. Again, any promotion should be trying to sign him. 100% agree. Love Shelton Benjamin. Yes. Think he's fantastic. Yeah, I dig the dude's work, and I really think that whatever he's got left in the tank needs to be brought to some of these companies to help them out, and also to give him that freedom to have some matches that hopefully he wants to have as well too. So,
yeah, whatever company he picks, if he's going to continue wrestling, I've never heard anything from him, but I assume he's good for another run or two.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's got more in the tank. He's not that old, Pop Smokes. I'm still pretty sure he's younger than The Rock, and we know The Rock has just come back to go after the head of the table. So we'll see how that pans out. See how The Rock does with his return to pro wrestling at the ripe age of 51. Although I sure as hell think I would like to look as good as The Rock does at 51 years of age.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I'm not really following the whole story of the championship in WWF, but is The Rock gonna have to do a job for Roman Reigns?
Mm-hmm. I believe that's The Rock has said it before in interviews that if he came back one more time, he wants to do that matchup on a big scale, him versus Roman Reigns, and put his cousin over. That is what he has said many times before because he firmly believes that Roman's a star. He believes that he should be put over like a star. And it's the one person that The Rock definitely would like to come back and put over like that. And hell, if he's willing to do it, I mean, sign the check and get him in there
Well,
because Rock is going to bring people outside of professional wrestling fans or ones that used to watch during his run are going to come back. If it is even just for that one event that The Rock is on, you're going to get eyes on the prize. And that's what it's all about. You want to make that bag, and they can make that bag with a star like The Rock and a lot of other names that they have rolling here, especially going into WrestleMania this year.
yeah, and I guess it shouldn't be that weird of a thought because that tends to be how they use their legends when they return them. Just example in point, the recent John Cena thing, he was there to put over the younger talent. So I have no doubt that The Rock would have no problem doing that either. He's a wrestling guy all the way, and he'll want to do it the right way.
For sure. Ryan saying, isn't the world done with Roman? The world's done with Roman when WWE says the world's done with Roman. I mean, they might reject him, but they rejected John Cena at one point too. And every time that guy walks into a building now, he gets a very, very massive pop upon his return. So any little bit of that pushback that some of these guys get for being pushed beyond all means tends to fade away when they step away. So again, once Roman decides to step away from professional wrestling, I think that a lot of people will still continue to look fondly upon his time within the WWE, including most likely this run with the belt, where he has broken a lot of records. Say what you say about the lack of title defenses recently. A lot of those guys that have those long title defenses weren't defending it necessarily any more than Roman was at any given time. So what's to say? He's gonna knock a few of those legendary names off that list for the amount of days with the WWF title. So sorry, the WWE, whatever the fuck they call it nowadays, combined 16 different titles rolled into one because they can't make up their damn minds and just have one belt anymore because everybody needs a belt these days.
Well, doesn't he have two of the three World Heavyweight Championships in that company?
But they've combined them, I think, if I'm not mistaken, now into just the one. I think he walks around with just the one belt. I could be wrong, but it's the
But there's another world
WWE.
champion, isn't there?
Well, yeah, but this one is I think this is like, and chat, help me out here because I've lost track. I believe Roman's is the WWE Universal Universal Championship. So it's the Universal title combined with the old WWF WWE Championship. And then the new one they created is the one that Seth Rollins holds that looks like a mock-up of the old Big Gold. That is the World Championship or something like along those lines. Too many belts, too many people with belts, too many names that are going to be defending belts. That's all it's going to be is belt.
Everybody gets a belt.
Two nights of Nights of Champions. I mean WrestleMania this year coming up in April. Night of Champions, 2 nights in a row. That's all it's going to be. Bobby would like to see Dave Finlay in MLW. Hell, I'll take Dave Finlay in MLW any day. Dave Finlay's been killing it in New Japan, so bring it on for sure. But yeah, Papa Smokes, we got a great card coming up this Saturday. I'm looking forward to watching it. Looking forward to watching it with you. What are we drinking, brother? We got to go for it right now. If anybody has any suggestions or if you have any thoughts, what should the Video Bros drink this coming Saturday?
Well, the holiday season is over, so we got to shift our thinking somehow and come up with something new.
We going back to the whiskey, or what? What are we doing here? Maybe back to some wild turkey, or we want to go something else?
That's always a standby for me. I'm a bourbon guy, so that would work for me.
All right, let's go bourbon. Let's go wild turkey. Let's hit up the wild turkey this Saturday, and I believe you're going wings, are you, this Saturday, Pop Smokes? Back to the wings?
I betcha. Yeah, I betcha.
All right, I'll have to see how creative I feel like getting this Saturday. I got very creative over the holiday season with some of my food cooking, Papa Smokes. In fact, just last weekend, and I know Barry will know this because I was talking to him about it. Aside from the shepherd's pie that I made on New Year's Day, the day before, I made beef Wellingtons for the very first time ever. And woo, Papa Smokes, they were some great beef Wellingtons. I couldn't believe that I nailed that shit first time on those things.
Yeah, that pastry can be tricky, hey Munson, but you pulled it off. That's good.
Yeah, you bet. So what I got the pastry sheets. I didn't make my own pastry. Sorry, didn't go that direction. I got the frozen pastry sheets out of the supermarket, but nice beef tenderloin, very, very expensive, nice beef tenderloin. Got some really nice mushrooms, had them all ground up properly, and then put that all together after kind of getting the water out of it. You got to cook the water out of those mushrooms, otherwise that's going to screw things right up. Get that prosciutto, get that mixture of the mushroom over top of that, wrapper over top, stick that into the fridge for about 10 minutes to allow it to kind of take form because you got it wrapped in the saran wrap. Unwrapper, put the pastry sheets around, wrap her up again, another 10 minutes in the fridge to let it firm up a little bit more, and then boom, straight in the oven. Those things go. Put enough heat to them. They cook out perfectly. Cut into it. You got a beautiful beef Wellington. I don't know if I'm going to get that creative on Saturday, but we'll see. Pluggo, holy shit, look who it is, Papa Smokes. What happens between two beards? They Alex Kane. Bomaye. Pluggo, how are you doing, brother? Haven't heard from you for a little while. Glad to see you here. Thanks for coming and hopping on Ring Respect Radio. How did Between Two Beards go this evening for you, sir? And Barry said, Bobby, sounds delicious. Yes, it does. Who knows? I mean, I might be near the bulk cheese warehouse on Saturday. I might go for the old the duck breast, because they've got some good duck breasts there at the old bulk cheese warehouse in Broadway of Saskatoon, Pop Smokes, that I do enjoy. Mm-hmm. And every once in a while, they have bison ribs. And bison ribs make for a damn good meal. I like me some bison meat.
Damn, Manson, it sounds like Fred Flintstone at the beginning of the Flintstones getting the Bronto ribs and it tips over his car. They're not that big, are they?
Oh, I don't know, Papa Smokes, but I'll give it a yabba dabba doo no matter what, because I like me some. And then they're not quite the dino-sized ribs, but man, bison ribs, they got pack a good punch. They got some good meat on them. But you put those things in the slow cooker for a good portion of the day, and oh my god, you take them off, and that meat just slides right off the bone like butter. It's beautiful. Plug was saying, good, my dudes. MLW is going to be a good one this Saturday. Yeah, you bet, Pluggo. Pop Smokes and I are going to be running our MLW watch-along party this Saturday night here on the channel. We always have a good time with that. And, of course, yeah, you, just like us, good friend of Alex Kane. Pluggo's interviewed him multiple times, met him in person, in fact. He's gone even one step further than us, Papa Smokes. So we got a brother from another channel right there and a good friend of Alex Kane's as well, too, supporting the Beaumaye Fight Club. And Barry saying you could take Bobby Sounds Delicious out of context now and use it against me. Oh, you're saying I should clip that shit is what you're saying, Barry? I should make a short video. I'll send it over to my boy at Mark Talks Wrestling. Tell him to jazz it up. Because I don't know if you've seen, Papa Smokes, the change to the OLE short videos as of late with the different graphics on them and a little bit bigger images folded over. Have you seen that recently?
Yeah, I have, and I noticed the difference. It looks great.
So I got to give a shout out to Mark over at Mark Talks Wrestling, who's doing some work here with us at our local establishment. You're going to be seeing him a little bit more on screen coming up, as well as me being featured a little bit more over at his channel as well, too. I'm going to be doing a bit of a, what do you call it, WWE 2K23 thing, but I'm not going to be taking any controls. Mark's going to take control of putting it all on a screen for us. All I have to do is cut some promo videos. I'm going to be repping MLW, and he's going to put MLW into the game, and it's going to be me versus Mark versus Lauren Goodnight, and Lauren's going to be repping AEW in there, and we're going to go for GM supremacy. I get to pick my people. I get to call my shots. I get to book my matches. Mark puts it on the screen, delivers it, edits it all up with our promo videos. It's going to be a sweet time. So looking forward to working with Mark. He's a bit of a stats guy himself, too. He's got a bit of a humor behind him as well. He's got that dry Brit humor that is going to be very delightful to have here on the channel. So I'm looking forward to working with Mark coming up. But yeah, he's done fantastic. The shorts, I got to give all the credit. I pull the video pieces from the streams for him. I send them over to him that same day. He's got that stuff edited up beautifully out there, and I love it. He adds that intro music of ours that goes along with the show. It kind of gives the people an insight. Damn, I think it's awesome. Like, kudos to Mark for those.
That's awesome. That's great, and I love to hear about a fruitful collaboration like that. Hope to see more work from him, and maybe some on-screen stuff as well in the future.
It's gonna be awesome. We got a lot of great stuff coming up. Bobby saying, do you guys think someone will show up after the Janai Kai matchup? There's a possibility. I still think that she's got such a long list of people, especially on the taping side of MLW this comes Saturday, that I don't know that they need to bring in another name to go right at Janai Kai when you've got Tiara James knocking at the door. You got Zeta Steele knocking at the door. You got Notorious Mimi knocking at the door. You've got all this talent coming in from TJPW as well, too. I believe that Janai Kai's plate is quite full at the moment. Not that I'm opposed, but I think, if anything, they need to bring in more names for Alex Kane. And I think that they've been doing great with the reveals of Alex Kane's next opponent. And I'd like to see them do it one more time.
Well, the way I picture it going on Saturday is that the Kai's opponent doesn't seem very well known, or doesn't seem to carry a huge reputation behind her. I could see that turning into a stomping and kicking match there, with Kai putting her opponent down, and then that opponent being rescued by somebody else, and maybe that's starting a new angle. I could see that going on.
It's very possible. You never know what will unfold here with MLW. They're going to want to start the year off strong, so I expect some great matchup, some big surprises, and a lot of great things from our friends over at Major League Wrestling. We hope that all of you will be tuning into our watch along. Also be checking out MLW Kings of Colesseum, that you can find on the rebranded Fight TV Plus, now known as Thriller TV, as powered by Fight TV. So again, it's the same channel, different name, still the same programming. So yes, you're going to be able to check that out. Make sure that you're subscribed to the Thriller TV Plus, so you can be checking out that card. And well, I'm supposed to looking forward to having that on the channel, having you on the channel here with me doing that show. And now we get to my favorite part of our entire program, the most expensive part of our entire program. This is where all the money goes. It's the Papa Smokes ticker, where you can find out where to reach out to Mr. Papa Smokes.
Oh, hell yeah, Munson. Love ticker time. So I'll give it to you verbally as well. I can be found in Elon Musk's free speech wonderland known as X. I am at smokes_Papa. And then on Twitch, I'm at Papa_Smokes_.
Perfect. That's where you can find Papa Smokes. And I will now throw up my ticker. It doesn't cost nearly as much as Papa Smokes, but it's still there for you guys. No. It's right there. That's where you're going to be able to find myself, Bobby Bunson, here on all of my different socials and stuff like that. I just want to say that if you're on Twitch, or you can head on over to Twitch. Hold on here. Unable to raid. Don't tell me I'm unable to raid here, Twitch, you bastards. Let's try this again. Well, that is a doozy. That is a doozy. It's telling me I cannot raid out right now on the Twitch side. I don't know what's going on there, Pop Smokes.
Suspended, Munson.
I'm confuzzled here, sir. Oh, here it goes. Here it goes. Okay. It worked on that, I think. Hold on. No. Okay, never mind. Anyway, we're saying the hell with it. Twitch is being a jerk. Screw you, Twitch. You're not in my good graces here tonight. But again, you can find me on various shows, including tomorrow night, Friday night, Ed Fries, Laura Goodnight, and Mel Ball Collins, as we bring you the 2023 year-end awards, repping the different companies that we love so much. On Saturday, myself and Papa Smokes are bringing you the MLW Kings of Colesseum 2024 watch-along tailgate party. So make sure you got your drinks ready and your food in hand to join us for the MLW card. And then again, Sunday, I bring you at 11 a.m. Eastern time. I think at 10 a.m. Saskatchewan time, but 11 a.m. Eastern time with Point of View, the show where you, the live viewing audience, get to pick the topics. Tell me what you want to talk about. Well, I chill and play some video games on screen. It's a fun old time. Join me on Sunday to wrap up the week in pop culture. But in the meantime and in between time, we appreciate you being here with us on Ring Respect Radio, and we will see you next Thursday night as we take a trip through the territories. See you then.